You're now tuned to the Politely Disrespectful Podcast with Dante.
Remo, I'm sorry.
And we have a very special guest with us
That was
today.
You know,
Say hi to the world.
I was Googling.
Hi, world. This is Empress Jade.
Yeah,
How you doing?
your boy Remo here.
Good. How are you? Thanks
I
for having
am.
me on the show.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being on the show. So we are going to discuss some new topics. But first, we're going to touch on Fashion Week because Fashion Week has just ended here in New York. And we can have Empress Jade tell us a little bit about it because she's in that world, right?
Yes. I'm involved in this world one way or another here and there, especially during Fashion Week.
Right.
So Fashion Week ended about the 14th of September. So it went from the 8th, if I'm not mistaken, till the 14th.
Okay.
Had tons of fun. Did 2 major shows and a few other really nice little shows. But yeah.
Okay. So what part of the fashion industry are you're part of? Like
What do you do in it? What do you do?
Model here and there.
Okay.
I
You walk the
do.
runway?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we have a model here, people. We have a
Yeah.
model.
Yes.
Do
yes.
twirls and spins?
Some of that. Thank you.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I'm a runway model. I also do some editorial stuff. I am also a stylist occasionally as needed.
Right.
I do creatively direct some photo shoots as needed.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty much my focus is on right now
Okay.
in the industry.
Okay. So if you have someone who wants to get into this industry, like what tips and advice would you have for them?
Ooh, that's pretty broad question. Um,
Take your time.
Tips and advice for someone who's just getting started and don't know where to begin, I guess. Go for it, but also with caution. Um,
You want to speak about some of those cautions?
yeah, yeah. So where do I even start? I mean, going into modeling, there's
Right.
tons of modeling. I would say tons of different branches
Okay.
or denominations when it comes to modeling in the fashion industry. You do have, as I mentioned before, we do have runway modeling, we do have editorial. Um, there's some influencer modeling as well, commercial.
Right.
So it all depends on what niche you want to get into when it comes to modeling.
Okay.
But I say when it comes to just for someone who's getting started, a lot of times we do have to carry that entrepreneurial spirit with us, especially as freelance models, which also that's another different category, whether you're freelance modeling or whether you're modeling via an agency.
What part are you?
I would say I'm a freelance model. I'm an independent model.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess for those who would like to get started in modeling, having that entrepreneurial spirit and the passion to do so would be important to start off with.
So how would you get into it? Like, who can you contact? Like,
Who can you contact?
I don't know. Like, if I wanted to model today,
Yeah,
like,
Remo
where
says,
would
I
go?
feel pretty right now.
You know?
And I'm sitting home watching the news, watching
Yeah.
Fashion Week on TV of people walking the runway. Say, hey, how can I be that person?
Yeah. Where do I go?
Where do you go? Well, again, carrying that entrepreneurial spirit,
Right.
do your research. A lot of research. Google is a great way to start with.
Okay.
Backstage is another good resource to start with.
What's backstage?
Backstage is like a platform that shares a bunch of castings. Well, it's like a platform for creatives to share casting information, for models or even actors and actresses to look for gigs, paid or unpaid, or um,
Gotcha.
yeah, all sorts of gigs
Yeah.
uh, to get into.
Oh, well, there you go.
Mhm.
Backstage.
Backstage.
Do you have to pay
Yes,
for backstage?
I think you do, but I haven't been on backstage in a while, so I
Yeah.
can't really confirm that. But I go on Eventbrite. Eventbrite is another good resource to start with.
Boom.
They
There
sell
you go.
tickets to like regular events. I mean,
Yeah.
hence the name Eventbrite.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I know, like they have like parties or shows, and
Yep.
like okay, click on the link, and it takes you to like Eventbrite, and
Mm-hmm.
then the tickets will pop up. When we saw Carmelo Anthony, the tickets came through Eventbrite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
for we went for the book signing.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
That-
that's awesome.
That was a great experience too.
Yeah.
I love Melo.
Come back to New York, Mello. Come back.
He's a free agent right now. That's another episode. We'll talk
Yeah,
about
we
that.
do.
Talk about my grievances about Melo.
Oh.
Melo currently being a free agent and not being in the Knicks or something like that. But
Right.
all right, back to modeling. So backstage, Eventbrite.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Another good one. Another good one would be Instagram.
The
Ah.
gram, the
The
gram.
gram going
Never
on
fails, right? Never
Instagram.
fails.
Never fails. At this day and age, Instagram is the way to go
Right.
for casting information, for fashion shows, for events even sometimes when you filter through
Right.
the explore page or what you want to see through when it comes to their search bar.
Right.
Everything pops up because Instagram right now is like the new Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
It's the new resume.
It's the new resume.
It's-
Yes, it is very much so.
A
especially for
visual
models.
resume,
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it is.
you can
Mhm.
say.
Yeah.
How cutthroat is the industry? Is it as they depicted in movies and television?
Well, I can say it can be really cutthroat when it comes to the high fashion industry. Yes. So I started off as an editorial intern, a fashion intern for Elle Magazine Malaysia. That's my home country. That's where I'm from.
Hey, shout out Malaysia.
Shout it out.
Hey, shout out Malaysia.
Malaysia. I gotta visit.
Yes, definitely beautiful country.
Nice.
So, are you familiar with the movie Devil Wears Prada?
I am familiar with it. I have not seen it, and I don't
Same
think I
here. I
plan-
was just.
I don't think I plan to see it either.
It had
but
a Broadway show too, right?
They do.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have
I
no
know that.
idea. I
So
have
you
no
know what?
clue.
You know more than me.
I know too much.
You know too much.
You
Nah.
know some. That's good.
He's trying to be a model.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I went through.
Okay.
Similarly.
Okay.
So not too much of an exaggeration there. So when it comes to high fashion, yes, it is still pretty cutthroat.
Okay.
But even in the fashion industry as a whole, I would say yes. It could be, even though right now they're welcoming a lot of diversity, models of all ages and sizes. At some point,
Mhm.
there's still a line there where people are still very much heavily based on looks,
Gotcha.
appearances, based on the connections, who you know, their biases.
Right.
How does that additional inclusivity make you feel?
Well, it's a step to the right direction, towards the right direction. I mean, I am focused on runway modeling. I may be, a runway model, and if you were to look at me, I'm not. I'm nowhere near the requirements of a typical high fashion runway model. I'm 5'5".
Okay, so
It's
so
too
you-
tall.
That's
Too
too
short?
short.
Too short.
Usually,
Yeah,
for
no,
high
no,
fashion,
I don't
yes.
know.
that much I know. You need to be like they look for like taller people who are
Yeah.
like giants
Ah,
who
gotcha.
like normally play like volleyball and stuff.
Yes, like
Gotcha.
long string bean. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Long string. I just got it. Yeah, I was a little late, but I got it.
It's all right.
and even with me being ethnically Chinese or Asian,
Right.
even my skin tone wouldn't really fit the requirements of, for example, what the fashion industry in Asia would want, which is fair skinned,
Yeah.
porcelain, tall,
Porcelain white.
skinny. Yes.
Right.
So I don't fit either or. I'm kind of in between. everything. But
Mm.
so having that entrepreneurial spirit again, and a lot of that confidence that you put out, and knowing what you're doing, and also being on top of it, being cautious
Right.
while getting into it, because again, the industry is pretty cutthroat and still a little ugly.
Right. Mhm.
Um,
So you definitely need thick skin. You
you
have
need
to.
thick skin. Yes, yes. You need to be able to handle rejection very well.
Absolutely.
Uh, deal with a lot of. You have to have a strong sense of self-esteem,
And self-confidence.
self-confidence. Yes. Um, hmm.
Have you been rejected many times or in the past or?
Oh yeah, that's part of the process. That's part of the process, and I think when you come into the modeling industry, that is something that automatically, like, you should be prepared for,
Gotcha.
because it is, in the modeling world, it's still very much appearance based. So if, for example, a designer were to think you're not it for the look, you're just not it.
Right. Nothing's gonna change their mind.
Right.
I could understand that. They're probably looking for a certain look, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, each designer, they have, certain aesthetic in place. They may have certain model or a certain type of model in mind, certain body types,
Yeah.
certain height, certain attributes, physical attributes that they have in mind.
Right.
So if you don't fit it, you just don't fit it. Too
Right.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah. They have a vision.
They have a
Just
vision.
keep it
Yes.
moving.
Yeah.
Yes,
Gotcha.
because at the end of the day, you're, as a model, we're kind of like a live human mannequin.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, like, so I understand that they're trying to make it more inclusive and they want more types and more whatever you want to call it to be involved. But I also understand that it's still an industry that they want to be selective.
Yes.
They don't want to just it's not like an open door. They just want to let everybody in and just say, hey, if you want a model, you're a model, you're a model, you're a model. It's just like saying, hey, this is the NBA, but everybody can come play. It still has to
Right.
separate an elite group from
Of course.
the common population.
You got to be the best of the best.
Yeah,
Best
so
of
you
the
have
best.
because then there's no reason to strive for
Right.
that kind of achievement. You say, hey, I want to be part of this. So once you're in, are you in forever, or do you have to continue to like push for more gigs and more events, or do they like assign you an agent to say, hey, this is what your next event's gonna be, or how does that work?
Um, this is kind of hard to tell, because everyone, I can't speak for every model out there, and those who are models, they have their own story on how they started modeling in the first place.
Yeah.
Some could be scouted at a young age. Some
Right.
would, for example, with me, I went from fashion styling, well, as an intern, editorial intern, to fashion styling, and now I'm a model. I didn't expect to get into this realm of fashion, but here I am. Um, some people, with Instagram or with Eventbrite, with the resources around them, and with the passion and the drive to want to do modeling, they may, seek out gigs and start from there. So everyone has a different story on how they start with. So eventually, when you get into, whether you're an independent model or if you're an agency based model, that could be that could show a different future in itself.
Right.
With an agency, you have a contract attached to it,
Gotcha.
maybe with a certain through a certain period of time, or who knows. I don't know what that contract entails. I'm not an agency model.
Okay.
But as an independent model, you're your own boss. You can start and stop whenever you want. You can take breaks whenever you want. So
Like
again,
Uber.
like Uber. So again, you
Yeah.
bring in that entrepreneurial spirit with you.
Yeah. I love Uber.
Shout out to Uber.
Shout out Uber.
Yeah.
Save me
So-
during Fashion Week.
Right.
I bet. How has the support been amongst like your friends and family and acquaintances that that when you let them know that, hey, this is what I'm doing, I'm in this industry and I'm in it. Like, what's the vibe?
What's the
That's
vibe?
the vibe.
It's very interesting, because I don't think any of my close circle of friends, including me, would expect for me to get into this industry and to get into modeling.
Right.
So, I mean, sometimes it's even weird for me to say, "Oh, I'm a model." I don't know. It still feels weird.
Yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Because for those who know me real closely, I'm nowhere near a fan of like the glitz and glam. Like I love to be comfortable. I love my loose t-shirts,
Right.
my basketball shorts.
Right.
Um,
As most do.
yes, most do.
Right.
Soon as soon as my show's up, my makeup's off.
Right.
That's it.
Gotcha.
So but the support's been astronomical. It's been great so far. It's been positive.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's more so. Wait, what? You're into modeling? I didn't know you do that. But
yeah.
good for you anyway.
Right.
Right.
It's positive.
Yeah, positive. And actually, in fact, this fashion week, this is my first September fashion week, in which, if you don't know the fashion industry well, September is a huge month for fashion. It's like the new year for fashion.
Right.
Okay.
So this being my first September fashion week and having walked two major shows, um, this is also my first time revealing to my mom that I model, revealing to my parents.
Hey.
That was my
model.
next question. How did
I was gonna kind of lead
yeah,
there. See.
you know, how did you? What did your parents think of it? Like, what was their reaction?
They've always known that I work in the fashion industry. They just never know what.
Yeah.
So when I finally say, yeah. So yeah, I wear designers' clothes and I walk out on stage and they're like, "You model?" And I said, "Yeah, I model." And they were proud of me. They were
I mean, it's a great
We're in awe.
accomplishment. You know,
yeah, it's a
not
great
that everybody,
accomplishment.
not everybody gets to walk that runway.
Or say that
No.
kid
They
walks
could.
the runway.
Yeah.
Yes, at New York Fashion Week.
Exactly.
That's a very big brag.
Right.
Huge,
Say my
huge.
daughter is a model
I would brag.
in New York City.
In New York City, in the Big Apple. Yes. And, Asian parents, like, they're not usually the biggest supporters when it comes to the creative arts or their kids getting into creative arts.
Right.
So,
That's a lot of like, I guess, non-American parents. They have like a track. They have
yes.
something. They have like a game plan for you in
Right.
life.
Yeah.
Go to school, get your education, get your degree.
Get a degree.
Be X, Y, or Z. Be doctor. Be lawyer. Be something.
Right.
I went to
because
STEM field.
see,
Uh,
and it's just like because they feel like they want you to have your future guaranteed.
Yes.
So they don't want you to do something that's kind of like that, especially they don't know too much about, or just know the longevity
Mm-hmm.
of staying afloat.
Yes.
So it's like saying, "Hey, mom, I want to be a stand-up comedian." Like what? It's just like no.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah. So
Right.
and so for some people it is, but they just can't see it.
They don't see
And
it.
they say, and like, "Hey, I'm only trying to nurture you to what I know."
Mhm.
And that's what they'll tell you a lot. They say, "Hey, I know that if you go to school and you become a lawyer, or you become a doctor, you do this, then you're stable."
Your
and-
success
yeah.
rate is
You're-
higher.
Exactly.
They probably won't say it so nicely, but yeah.
No. They'll just throw a slipper at me.
Yeah.
You
He
know,
put it in a very nice way.
Yes.
Or they'll ask, "What's your backup plan?" It's like saying, "Hey, mom, I'm going to the NBA." Oh, okay. So if the NBA doesn't work,
Right.
what else you got going on?
Yeah,
Like,
you got to bring out the plan B, C, D, E, F, G.
but yeah, it's because it's like I said, it's a non-traditional, and when you have very traditional parents, it's scary.
It's scary.
Yeah.
And
You
they
know.
probably won't even want to hear the BC. Like, why
No,
hear why B, C, D, E
Like, no.
when
Like-
you already know I have a path for you?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They have a sure path, and they don't want you straying
No,
because
absolutely. not.
they don't know the outcome.
They can't see. It's hard, but I get it. It's hard for them to see it,
Right.
and so when
Right.
you go against the grain, it becomes a funky
Right.
thing. But they feel great about it.
They feel great about it
That's
thus
excellent.
far.
That's excellent.
Thus far.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Have they seen your photos and videos?
They've seen my videos. They haven't seen photos yet. I'm warming them up to it.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
slow build.
Slow
Slow build.
build. You know,
Can't
take your
get them
time.
too
Take your time.
much.
Can't hit them all at once. You give them a heart attack.
Oh yeah.
Make too much too soon. Just
Yeah. They'll pass out on you.
Mhm.
break it up in pieces. So for people who are looking to get into this industry as well, what kind of scams exist that you think you would want to advise people who are looking to get into that you've been able to identify and can say, hey, if someone says this or someone does that, stay away from that because that's not they don't have your best interests at heart and it's a scam.
Mm.
How are those people in the mall, the shopping mall? They say, hey, how's it going? Would you like to model? They do that a lot. Like a lot of these big shopping
Really?
malls, they're like, hey, do you want to? Or they'll say, hey, do you want to put your kid in modeling? Or do you think you have a future in modeling? Come here. And then what they do, they just have you buy like a photo package because that's the scam. So they have you like investing in yourself, and you never make it, but they've made money because they have made you buy something.
Yep.
And that something was not a guaranteed promise to get you out there, but it helps line their pockets, and then you go nowhere.
Right.
But like that's one scam that I'm aware of, like the shopping mall people, and they have like, and then these models end up being models themselves, models walking, asking the same people, soliciting people in the mall for the same exact, business model.
Yeah.
But what have you seen that has been like?
I've never come
sketchy?
across that. What mall you go to?
I haven't either, but I've heard stories. I haven't
Yeah.
heard stories.
I don't know what you guys, but you shop at the wrong malls.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know. I've never come across that.
Enough malls here.
If you and I stopped shopping in malls too, but Roosevelt Field Mall in Long
Oh,
Island,
okay, yeah, I've been there.
Kings Plaza Mall used to do it.
I don't go there anymore.
I don't know. I think
Boring.
there's another mall in Long Island that's near the Roosevelt Field Mall. I forgot what that was called.
Yeah.
But same thing. They just recruit you. They try to scout you and recruit you, and it goes nowhere.
Gotcha.
But yeah, what
I guess I'm not pretty enough.
apparently
Scout
not.
it.
Apparently not.
Don't say that.
You are handsome to the world. Don't let no one tell you otherwise.
I
yo.
want to be scouted.
Christina Aguilera says you're beautiful no matter what.
Hey, there you go.
That's my girl.
Well, that's pretty much a good one to start off with.
Okay.
So, going back to advice and tips, do your research.
Right.
Do your research before getting into anything. Because as a model, for example, if you were to go or get into an agency, if you were to be scouted by an agency, oops, wine glass,
Sorry,
or
it's therapeutic.
it is, or if you were to be invited to walk for a show, you shouldn't have to fish out money for this opportunity.
Gotcha.
You shouldn't have to. And if you were asked to be fished out, if you were asked to fish out any sort of money, it's a scam. That's a red flag. I wouldn't say it's a scam for sure, but it's a red flag. It's unethical in the modeling world.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Some do's and don'ts. What's the don'ts? What's the look like?
Don't pay money.
Yeah, don't.
It's clear don't.
Yeah, what? Some cautions to look out for. Like,
But of course, I mean, I wouldn't say don't completely pay the money because when you're an independent model, there are some things that you need to invest in for yourself.
It's like self-marketing at least.
Self-marketing, yes. There are some things that you do need to
like photos.
comp cards. If you're an independent model, those are something that you know.
What's a comp card?
A comp
'Cause
card.
I was just gonna nod my head like I know what that meant. And now I was like, wait a second.
That's what I was doing. I don't know if anybody noticed.
Nope.
You know, I was just.
The world needs to know. If we don't know, and a lot of people don't know.
A comp card is a resume for models. So you pretty much have your digitals, which is, a digital of you full body, your profile, your frontal, physical attributes. So
Okay.
your measurements.
It's like a portfolio.
Well, I wouldn't say it's like a
Something similar.
condensed portfolio in one card.
One card, like a baseball card.
Basically, like
Yeah.
stats.
like stats, you got stats on the back. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is my stats.
Say, here's my figure. This is the size that I wear. This is
Yeah.
okay.
Your best position on the front. best
So as soon
pose.
as I present you my comp card, if you were a designer, you would be able to see my work and what I'm capable of.
Gotcha.
You would be able to see my features and my measurements all in one go, all in
Okay.
a card.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Nice.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Just be like, here's my card.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to be flipping pages like that.
No, but you can also build your
What's that?
portfolio, have an actual portfolio on hand.
What do you think is better,
What do you mean?
the card or the portfolio?
Oh, they both come in useful. It depends on
Um,
again, self-marketing if you're an independent model.
Right.
The more the merrier. It's good to have both. But when you're in, for example, an event or when you're because the industry is pretty fast paced. So sometimes, the designers don't even have time to look through your portfolio.
Right.
So
Right.
a comp card would
Makes
be enough.
Makes sense.
Okay.
But if you want to, if you have some time to discuss and if they have some time to look through your work, a portfolio would be great. But it's as a developing model, if you do want to further your career, it's good to have both.
Is there an age where you're locked out? Say, hey, let me just not even go for it because no one will look at me.
No, right now they're focused on um, diversifying the models that are involved in the fashion industry. Also for marketing purposes, diversity is the in thing right now. So we have models of all ages at this point,
Okay.
even senior models.
Nice.
Those with a silver mane,
Nice.
kid models, teens, adults. Anyone could be a model at this day and age.
Got it.
Influencers, those are the perfect
That is true.
example.
That is true.
Right.
Yeah, because if you have a large following and then you get partnerships and they market items, whether it's clothing,
Mhm.
Right.
flat tummy tea, all those random bullshit stuff. But I mean, these partnerships are key. But it's definitely good to know, have some insight, and be able to let the world know about these kind of key things. For someone who's intrigued about the industry,
Oh,
who
yeah,
doesn't know much about it or
definitely.
is intrigued about getting into it, it's definitely key to have some.
Yeah, because
some-
that's the hardest thing. The hardest thing is to start, right? Whatever it is you want to do.
Mhm.
But if you have somebody who can give you a little bit of information, and it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
but it also depends on your drive.
yeah, you gotta want it. You
Yes,
gotta
you
want
gotta
it,
want it.
Yeah.
and you have to know what you're getting yourself into. See, you're going into a highly competitive,
Exactly.
circle, and
Right.
it's eat or get eaten.